Welcome to our next little video. I wanted to do a different one this time because we did one on chatter tools and how well they work. Well, some places they don't work. And so there's another way to put decorative marks on pieces of material where chatter tools just won't do it. For instance, acrylic. It can be chattered, but also it can be put on with a rotary tool and a special handle, which is exactly what I'm going to show you how I make them, and then we'll make one. This is what I mean. This tool right here is a rotary burr, standard 1/8 inch burr, which I put into a handle. The handle has two bearings in it. They're 3/8 outside diameter, 1/8 hole inside diameter. And that means that they will accept all these standard carving burrs that we all probably have a set of. Well, if I can make these things so they can do chatter work for you, might be really easy. And that's what we're going to do right now. Let me show you what that pattern looks like. I've got a piece of acrylic chucked up here. And my speed is set relatively low. And what we're going to do real quickly here is simply put a little bit of a chatter pattern on here. I'm using a round tip, double cut, carbide burr. And that's it. There's your pattern. All I've got to now do is to take my diamond point tool, here it is, and I'm going to put a little line on either side of this. I like simply setting them off a little bit like that, and then a little mark over here. It just kind of forms a picture frame around it. So that's the kind of mark that you can get using one of these kind of tools. Now I know there are commercial ones available, but if you have a set of these burrs, and if you don't, you can buy a set for $8 or $9. These 1/8 inch bushings cost about $1 a piece. I bought a set of 10 of them from Amazon for about $10 with no shipping charge, so they're really inexpensive. Come in a tube like this, set of 10 of them. And these are the burrs, or the bearings that we're going to be using to make the tool. So let me show you what we're going to do. I'll put them back in here so I don't lose them. Let's go over to the whiteboard and let me show you what the drawing is going to look like. So, here's our handle, just a stock of, it's going to be a pen blank in my case. And I'm going to drill a hole that's just a little bigger than 1/8 inch to slide that into. And I'm going to make that about 0.8 of an inch deep, just because. And then I'm going to go in there and drill a second hole that's going to be 3/8 of an inch. It's going to go almost all the way to the bottom. And so the handle blank is going to look sort of like that. And I'm going to make that one about 0.7 of an inch deep. So all I'm going to do is drill 2 holes, and then I'll bring up my live center into here for support, because that'll line it up on the holes, and then I'll turn my handle shape, whatever that turns out to be. So small hole, a little over 1/8 down here, 0.8 of an inch deep, and then a 3/8 hole, this diameter across here is the diameter of that bushing. And I'll push one bushing down here and glue it into place. And the other bushing I will put right here at the top and glue it into place. So that when we put our tool in, It will register in this bottom hole and be aligned like that. Kind of a crummy drawing, but you get the idea. So let me go back to the lathe again, and I'm going to reset. First thing I'm going to do is drill that hole that's just a 64th bigger than 1/8 of an inch. And the purpose of that is so that the burr has a place to sit. And I've marked my 1/8 of an inch. Everything's ready to go. Turn my speed down to 0 because I really don't know how fast it is at the moment. And I can bring it up to a nice drilling speed. And we're just going to go down to where the blue tape is. This is a stabilized Burlwood pin blank that somebody gave me. So it should take the holes pretty nicely. There's my bottom hole for the burr. And here's the hole that's going to accommodate the bearing. Get that into the chuck here. And that's all the prep work we really have to do. What we're now going to do is take this out. Replace it with a 60-degree cone. And at this point it's about shaping a handle, which is really a simple task. Whatever your shape is, it'll be just fine. I'm going to rough it out with my deep fluted gouge. All I'm doing now is just tapering it a little bit. I want to get down here closer to that 60 degrees cone. Probably I'll switch to my skew chisel. It's like turning a finial. This is really hard stuff. I don't need it too long. roll this into a little bit of a bead here at the end. Create some more working room. I'm not going to part that off yet. I better sand a little bit first. There's that sanding sponge I used in one of my last videos. Since this is stabilized wood, I'm not going to put a finish on it. I'm just going to polish it up a little bit. A little 4/0 steel wool. You put an oil finish on it or anything you'd like, but it's a working tool. It's not a big fancy project. This is what it looks like. Well, that's attractive wood. That's attractive wood. I do want this end a little cleaner than that. So I'm going to very lightly sand right here on the end. Leave a bushing set right in that end there. That looks okay. So I think we need to part it off and then start our assembly. Okay, complete my bead here a little bit. I know my hand's blocking part of what you can't see, but I got to hold on. Because if I don't, well, that would happen if I let go. And I did. So, it's done. What I'm going to do is sand this little part off right down here. Round it over. That'll take a second or two. My sandpaper is a little too fine, I think, for this job, but that's what I got. Good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and glue in one of these bushings. I'm going to glue it in all the way to the bottom of this hole. Here's my workbench. I'm going to get out two of these. I only need two. Now, if I put glue on this thing, and push it in, what's going to end up happening is I risk the possibility of getting glue on the working portion of this bushing. And actually that's a pretty tight fit, so that's fitting really good. That one's already in there. The top one is going to be glued on right to this surface. Let me find something that I can sit here, then I'm willing to risk putting a little bit of glue on. I've just grabbed this drill, a little bit smaller, so I could push that down. That one's in there. Now, if I put a glue down here, it's going to run in on that bushing. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put glue around the inside of this hole. Well, it's coming out of the wrong places. It's not coming out where it's supposed to. That's okay. It's just around the inside edge. That's all I want. Just around the inside edge. And I'm keeping it this orientation. bushing is in there. Well, it didn't stay because I didn't wait for the glue to dry. So let me put it back in. And that's going to sit there until the glue dries. And we have a handle. We'll stand here and hold for a few seconds. Then we'll test it out. Cleaning up my acrylic. Got the last pattern off so we can take a look at, see what the new tool does. A quick sanding to create a nice surface here. A little 220, a little extra fine. Give it a smooth surface, a little 4/0 steel wool. Polishes it up nice enough for us to do what we want to do. Okay, plastic's ready. Oops. So here's our handle. Off camera, I went in and put a little bit of Mahoney's oil on it, just simply to bring the pattern out a little bit more. Got the CA to dry on the bearing. So that's the one on the end. And it's a small handle, but I wanted a small handle. And I'm going to grab one of these other double cut carbide burrs, 1/8 inch shaft. Let's see what happens. I need a little more working room. That'll do it. And I want to go slower. Let's see what happens. Three sets of patterns, and because of the shape of the burr and the cut pattern, they're all identical. One went on faster than the other one. Let's set it off like we always do. Take our diamond point here and put a little window frame around each of these just for fun. I always think they look better. Kind of just crisps up the edge a little bit. Get my marks off of there. So, there it is. A tool to use your standard 1/8 inch carving burrs. Use 1/4 inch burrs. You can buy bearings, like this, with a 1/4 inch hole and a larger outside diameter, all from, well, we got all these things from Amazon, and it was like an overnight delivery. And one improvement you might make, if this feels like it's going to come loose, you can very easily drop a small rare earth magnet at the bottom of this hole so that the tip of this will be attracted to that magnet and have a tendency to hold it in. For my use, I have never found that to be a problem. Anyway, another small tool, a quick little project, pen blank and one of your carving burrs, and a new way to put decorative patterns on your projects. Hope this helps. Hope you'll have fun with it. See you in the next video.